Hello, fellow scientists. The purpose of this video is going to be to review pages 13 through 18, which is the actual exercise and cellular respiration lab report and data collection. So actually, we'll start on page 12 technically. So let's go on down to that page. You should have already done your lab design. And that brings us to the data collection. Now, for this data collection, where you're going to want to go is over to Google Classroom. And then on Google Classroom, you'll find muscle packet resources. And then within there, you can find the data that you need, not only for the graph or for the data table, but also for the graph. And so if you don't have any data, you can simply write in these numbers. Now you will still need to calculate the average. And to calculate the average, you'll take the first, second, third, and fourth numbers, hit enter, divide by 4, that will give you an average. And this is for resting. And then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers adding together, divide by 4 to get an average for 1 minute. And then the same process for 2 minutes. And then you'll do that for each table. The first table is carbon dioxide production per minute. The second one is breathing rate per minute. Once again, resting and then exercise. And then finally, you have heart rate. And then same thing, resting and exercise. And then these green sort of boxes here, that is going to be what you graph, right? So for carbon dioxide, we have resting in blue, exercise 1 in red, and exercise 2 in yellow. And so that's going to be first bar, second bar, third bar. Blue, red, yellow. Yep, right in order. And then you have breathing rate, which you can see here in the second one, blue, red, yellow. And then heart rate, which is your last table, blue, red, yellow. Don't forget to create your key for your graph. Don't forget your title. Don't forget your labels. And just finish up all of that data. So that's going to be your data table here. You won't fill in every box if you use that, and that's fine. Just use the ones that are filled in. And then we have your graph, which once again, you can see the example on that document that you open. It is a tab at the bottom that says graph. Now this is an example. Do not copy this graph. It's not right. You will need to adjust your scale and put in obviously your numbers. But that is sort of what you can expect your graph to look like. So then based on that graph, we have a couple of questions. This is what you can see, what you can think, and what you can wonder about the graph. So the first one, it says, what effect did exercise have on the variables measured? Now, as I start to get into this, obviously you usually need to pause the video to write down your ideas and then continue on the video. So what was the effect? Well, that's pretty obvious, right? So if we go to that graph, and once again, this graph isn't accurate, but the trends are the same. We see that increasing exercise increases carbon dioxide production. Whether we measured it directly, whether we measured it through breathing, or whether we measured it in the heart through heart rate, we continually saw more carbon dioxide produced as we did more exercise in every measurable way, right? So that's the first one. So then we go over here to what do we think? It says, based on the variables, what is the impact of exercise on cellular respiration, right? So we didn't directly measure cell respiration, but we did indirectly measure it, and this is the same thing, right? More carbon dioxide means that there's more cellular respiration occurring, because that's where ATP energy is coming from. Second bullet, it says, what impact would increasing exercise have on blood glucose levels? Well, glucose and sugar are inputs into cell respiration. So if we're breathing out more carbon dioxide, that carbon's coming from sugar. So we're putting more sugar into our cells, which means, to the question, increasing exercise is going to decrease blood glucose because we're using it up in order to power and energize the exercises that we're doing. And then finally, based on the data collected, what insight do you have on why muscles may become tired during exercise? Well, basically, if you run out of energy, right, you're going to feel tired. Like your body can't keep doing this forever. Eventually, you run out of energy and then you can't produce and you have to rest. And then finally, what's something that you still wonder about exercise and its effect on the body, especially as it might relate to energy and energy levels? So now we need to go into our conclusion. So it says, was your hypothesis supported? So you'll have to go back to your hypothesis, which is in the previous pages, maybe page 5 or 6 or something. Read your hypothesis and then basically say, yeah, my hypothesis was right. No, it was wrong. Give one reason why. And then it's summary time. It says, why did we measure multiple variables to investigate exercise in cellular respiration? Well, because we wanted to see how it affects the entire body, right? We wanted to look at your body systems. We wanted to look at organs. We wanted to try to look at cells. We didn't really see cells, but we wanted to look at all of the different connected systems and how they responded. So that's why we did heart rate and breathing rate and the carbon dioxide molecule test. Number 2, how might you improve the procedure to generate more accurate data? This is using digital tools. We did not use digital tools. We just used our hands to measure pulse rate and our eyes to measure breathing rate. Digital tools would be better and more accurate for that process. Number 3, we only did 1 or 2 minutes of exercise. It says, how might our body respond differently when exercising for longer periods of time? It's going to increase to a point, probably, right? But at some point, it kind of levels off, and that's why you can run for an extended period of time. But you can't sprint, right? You got to kind of find a nice balance between energy use and sort of overall tiredness. So you can't go too fast for a long period. You have to balance it out so that your body can exercise for an extended period of time. Number 4, based on what we've talked about, what role does the brain or nervous system play in maintaining homeostasis during exercise? Well, your brain and nervous system, they are the things controlling your breathing and heart rate. This is not a decision. You don't think about breathing heavier. You don't think about increasing your heart rate. They just happen because your brain is reacting to the stimulus of energy requirements as you exercise. Number 5, what did we learn about exercise, cellular respiration, and why muscles may become tired during exercise? What else do we need to learn about to better understand the phenomenon? So this, you want to just combine these words into a sentence, right? So just something about how during increased exercise, there's increased cellular respiration because your muscles need an increase in ATP energy, right? Notice how in that case, everything's moving in the same direction. There's more of this exercise. So I need more cell respiration, which makes energy, because my muscles need more energy. And doing that, it just depletes all of your reserves. Eventually, you run out of sugar and food, and that's when you begin to feel tired. And that's going to bring you to your rubric. So just based on listening to this, go ahead and score how comfortable you are. And then for the partner rubric, you can think just back to the last activity you did in class. It doesn't have to be this one. And just think about how others around you are engaging. And that should bring you to your muscle cell input-output model, which will be the next video.